Hello, good morning, and welcome to another out-of-spec motoring road trip. You join me at a full, Rivian Adventure Network site here in Truckee, California, where they get a ton of snow. You can see it's nice out now. We're coming into springtime, and I'm actually on a road trip, and we're going to go 1,000 miles, almost to the mile, from here in Truckee, California, to Fort Collins, Colorado. And I'm going on a road trip in a new Rivian R1T Dual-Motor Max Pack. Why am I taking that on a road trip? I could have just flown home. Well, I was just visiting with the software team in Palo Alto that designs and engineers the software and electrical hardware for Rivian vehicles, and they have just come up with, actually it's not even released at the time of this recording, but by the time this video goes up it will be. They have just released the new Energy app and improved charging performance for all Rivian batteries that are in Gen 2 vehicles and Gen 1 Max. So, in this video, I'm going to test the new charging performance on a road trip. We're going to look at their new Energy app. I'm going to tell you about it on the way. But for now, we're juiced up pretty much to 100%. No one's waiting in line, but we should get moving. So let's get moving, hit the road. It's time to start a road trip. Well, we are charging up pretty much to 100%. I actually charged up here last night and I had to get a little bit of work done. So I figured, all right, let's just juice it up while I'm sitting here. Again, no one was waiting in line, but I did meet this guy here. I think he used our Rivian referral code to get his truck. So shout out to that guy. He just mentioned it and then ran away. I was like, would have said, hey. We met another viewer who was charging here in the R1S. Love it. So many out-of-spec people drive Rivian. Super cool. With all that said, this is the truck that we are going on a 1,000-mile road trip in. This is one of their, software development trucks that they let me steal. It's a dual-motor Max Pack L-cap granite on the 22-inch dark sport wheels. No tonneau cover on this one, which is interesting. So, we're going to lose out maybe on a little bit of efficiency, but I don't think it makes that much of a difference. I've always wanted to do a video. Maybe I have done a video a long time ago on that, but it really doesn't seem to impact efficiency much. This is EPA rated at 420 miles of range. R1T is more efficient than R1S, in case you're wondering. They're close, but T, surprisingly, the truck is more efficient than the R1S. And it's a Max Pack, so that's really, nothing unusual for us. This is not like a new build. This is not, honestly, super exciting from the outside looking in. But let me show you what's new, what's exciting. First of all, this is on pre-release software that has improved charging performance for the LFP pack, the new large pack, and the Max Pack. So the OG Rivian large pack is not improved. I'm charging up here 19 kilowatts at 99%. I will say Rivian has massively improved, especially the top charging performance of the Max Pack. Going from 80 to 100% takes so much less time than it used to. And based off of my first charge with this vehicle yesterday, I just plugged it in here just to top it all the way up to 100. But based off my first charge with this yesterday, doing a 20 to deep charge, can't remember, 80 something, it was amazing. I mean, in the sense that no big thermal dips. It lets the cells get a bit hotter now. It doesn't do these big waves, but that's just one charging session. We're going to have it in some warm weather today and see how it does. In case you're wondering, this is the new Energy app that I'm showing you here. So this is why I'm going on the road trip, to play around with it. You'll notice it gives you tips and tricks. It says the pack is near the charge limit, so charging speed is reduced. And it will tell you the limits for other things, like you're charging at the expected rate, or battery's too cold, or charger is the limit. And I really think that's going to help demystify a lot of problems around charging. Rivian's kind of done stuff like this in the past, showing up little messages here on the screen. You can see it also has a new warning here that says pack is near the charge limit. However, those messages weren't so great. They were just kind of wrong a lot of the time. So here we are. You can see we've put in, 0.8 kilowatt hours or 800 watt hours going into this thing, probably almost a kilowatt hour. It says where it's going, battery pack to car, fan, or outlets. And that, of course, will be the same for level 2 charging or DC charging or even level 1 charging. You can set your charge limit the same, anywhere from 50 to 100% in 1% increments. You can schedule stuff. It's just a little bit different visual layout, but I'm really thrilled that we have literal charging curves inside the car. So Rivian's goal, what they told me when I met them about this, was they really wanted to give the nerds the details they wanted. So you can see kilowatts and miles per hour, cost and all of that stuff all here, just so it makes sense for everyone. They wanted to give the nerds what they wanted, but also to demystify the experience. That's not just on the charging side, that's also on the energy side. And this is something you can change the gear guard face, which I love. This is something that's going to be really interesting to see throughout our road trip. There's a whole new way of displaying energy while parked or while driving. And I'm going to have to soak in how this works. I'm going to play around with it and then show you guys later on in the video more of this. But there's basically two big improvements here. There's the new energy app and there's the new charging performance. More stuff coming that they've showed me as well. If you go to Out of Spec Reviews, you'll be able to see a bunch of the improvements coming, driver assistance improvements that I got to experience, dual motor clutch reconnect, disconnect strategies that I got to experience. Oh, there's another Rivian charger all the way there in the corner. And so essentially that is the plan for today. We're going to go play around with the improved charging. We're going to play around with the energy app, and we've got 1,000 miles to do it. So I'm going to get some cameras loaded up. We're going to hit the road. We're going to hit Starbucks on the way out of here, and then boom, back to Fort Collins. Well, I've got everything set up. I've seen like 3 or 4 non-Rivian vehicles try to come here to charge. We're at 99%. So it does take a real while to get up to 100, as you would expect. But to get up here where you get meaningful range, honestly, I have to commend Rivian for at least trying to do everything they can with this Samsung 53G cell, which is just not a great cell for charging. Good energy density cell, good cell for durability and longevity, but it just hates to charge. But I think they were kind of telling me, hey, we kind of did everything we could with this update to give you the best charging experience possible. So we got to commend them on that, but let's see how it works before we give them too much praise. So close up the charging port. We're juiced up. I'm going to hit Starbucks on the way. We're going to reset our trip computer for the 1,000-mile trip from Truckee to Fort Collins. Let me show you where the heck we're going. So we are in Truckee. So I left Palo Alto yesterday on one charge from down here, drove up to Truckee. It was late at night, so didn't bother filming. From here, we're going to drive all the way to Fort Collins right over here. So should be super fun. I'm looking forward to doing this I-80 route. It's always absolutely beautiful. You and I have done this route many times in videos before. So I'm going to come here to settings. We're going to go to about. We'll reset trip A, since that'll be this road trip. I got 2 miles per kilowatt hour coming up here, but keep in mind, I came all the way up from sea level to about 5,500 feet of elevation, which is roughly where we're going to be ending in Fort Collins. So we are at 100% state of charge. Nice R1S blacked out there, charging up. We have to sort of Austin Powers our way out of here, which is going to be, this is not the easiest parking lot for Rivians to get in, but man, they are busy. And another one rolling up now. So I can't believe how heavy use this Rivian station is. I guess it is Memorial Day weekend, I should mention as well. So things are potentially going to get real busy around here. And that's going to be an interesting road trip, Memorial Day road trip in this. Maybe we might get stuck on some lines because this is going to be a super heavy travel weekend. There's still a little bit of snow left up on the hilltops up here. Starbucks, I think, is just down in this little shopping center. We'll grab that, and then we will be off on the road. Always love a Rivian road trip. Today, really going to be focusing on looking at the improved charging and the energy app, seeing how that goes. And by the end of this trip, we do have to come up with a vehicle name. I don't know what we're going to name it, but we got to name it something. So I wanted to show you what the route planner kind of was thinking we should do, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stops. That seems pretty good. I might optimize a little bit because it's trying to get us to EVgo with 138 miles on arrival. Now, I have asked Rivian so many times to change this to percent, but I was able to really get with the man in charge, Wasim, who's responsible for the software of the Rivian yesterday. We went driving around. He's like, yeah, we can do it. So hopefully this will show percentage on arrival and miles, depending on how people think, because miles means nothing to me. I just want to know the percent so I can push it. Now, the Rivian is trying to stop at this EVgo station here in Winnemucca. That must be new. Maybe a Pilot Flying J location would be pretty cool. We've been through this stretch, Battle Mountain, Elko. I say we get on the road. Let's see how this all looks as we get some distance on. And if I pull up the energy app, there's our charging session, but I can come here and it says our range impact is normal. Energy use is looking good. I've been driving normally around here. And this green bar shows how much we've regened, which I think is pretty cool. You can show it in kilowatt hours or miles. That's nice. Let's keep it in kilowatt hours. And yeah, I'm going to figure out what all these little bars mean over time. I don't really think in terms of time. I think in terms of distance when I'm thinking about my energy use. So this is a little bit odd. I also think it's odd how they show output and regen separately. You would think it would just be overall energy during that time period. So I've got to wrap my head around what they're thinking here and then maybe tell them if I like it or not, or I don't know. Definitely, I love the effort. This just doesn't work for my brain. I'm so used to just a linear bar like Tesla does with their energy app. But again, that's just maybe what I'm used to, and perhaps I'll come around to this idea here. With all that said, let's hit the road. Got my Starbucks, ready to rock and roll. Cruising through the desert, what do we see? A freaking Tesla semi! Hell yeah, brother!
That's all that matters. And I just stare in your eyes. Stare in your eyes. And I just stare in your eyes. Stare in your eyes. Can you take me higher? Higher, higher. Can you take me higher?
We have arrived to our first charging stop. We've been here a few times on videos before. There's actually a pretty good restaurant right there, so that'll be great. We've arrived at 13% state of charge. Before I show you the energy app, let's pull up our trip data. So we did 252 miles from 100% to 13%. Getting 2.16 miles per kilowatt hour. We burned about 118 kilowatt hours. Keep in mind, I'm out in the desert and just pegged at 85 miles an hour, which is the fastest driver assist will let me go. So let's pull up our energy app, and we want to look at drive, and we want to look at our current drive. So this is our last 252 mile drive. We used, this one says 121 kilowatt hours, but then we gained 5. So I guess that's where the discrepancy comes from. Here's what each thing used. I can't imagine the outlets used 3.5 kilowatt hours though. What the heck? I didn't even have anything plugged into the outlets. The only thing I had was my phone charging off USB. There's no way we used 3.5 kilowatt hours there. So maybe there needs to be a little bit of work on that calculation. Also, couple things here. It says projected range impact is high, and Gear Guard's looking disappointed. So I can, change his look there a little bit, but we can't go back to the original, but that's funny. It says over the next hour of that type of driving, we'd burn 35 kilowatt hours or 104 miles of range. And that's rated range. Then the tip here says try keeping your average speed around 65 miles an hour to conserve more energy. That makes sense. I like this little tip area, and I think they can get better over time, providing more useful tips to new EV drivers. What I'm really struggling with is this energy use calculation. So the metric seems to change. So this is like 16-minute intervals, which makes no sense to me. So I guess we were, coming down the mountain, so we burned less energy. Then we were going back up to get up here, and we burned some more, and then, became a little bit more efficient. What I'm really struggling with is that's the output, but this is also the input. So if you're on a mountain drive, you might have really high energy use, but then also you might have really high regen, and it's just hard to gauge, was that an efficient stretch overall, or was it not? Because I think you should factor in regen and output into one calculation. So I have two issues with this. The first is I don't understand why we're looking at time instead of distance, and that the intervals change based off your drive. So it's not a consistent graph. That's hard for me to understand. Also, we're only using about 40% of the available graph space. Secondly, my smart car displays it like this. Some others do, where you have output and regen separated. And I think the way Tesla does it, where they have a normal bar that shows, hey, over, the last 50 miles, you were up here in consumption, or down here if you're going downhill. That makes way more sense to me as an overall consumption graph. I'm really curious to see what you guys think in the comments below. And again, I'm not 100% sure all these metrics make all the sense in the world. Now, if we were to sit here, running AC, it's going to calculate how much energy we're going to burn just by sitting here. So we've already burned 300 watt hours just parked here, which climate controls use 200 watt hours. That's really interesting and kind of a cool metric. Another thing I noticed while I was driving, so that's all the energy stuff so far. And I'm still trying to work out, how this, if I can get on board with this lifestyle here. If I come over here to the charging graph, we have our last charging curve. This should update. We have manual preconditioning, which I didn't need to use because we were navigating to a charging station. But check this out. Finally, Rivian supports manual preconditioning. It says prepare the battery. Preparing the battery helps you charge faster at DC chargers. Here's what to expect. Some energy will be used. It may take up to an hour or more. That's thermal management at Rivian. Cooling the cabin will slow down the process because it has to split the thermal loop between the battery and the cabin. And conditioning will run for up to 2 hours and will continue when the vehicle is unoccupied. That's great. So you can hit it, leave, and it'll still get ready. And if you route to a charger using the navigation app, the battery will automatically prepare itself for fast charging. Well, let's see what happens here. If I hit it, you can see we're at 98 degrees Fahrenheit on the battery. And if I go to the energy app, it says it's cooling the battery for faster charging. Now, of course, I navigated here to this Electrify America station. Without much delay, let's go take a look at that new charging performance. Let's plug this thing in and see how well it charges. I've got a 350 kilowatt ABB Electrify America station. Gen 2 cooling fans ripping at the moment. And I was going to go to the Tesla supercharger here, but I can't find the adapter for the supercharger. So I might be stuck using EA the whole way back, which is fine. I thought I saw one in the car yesterday when I was driving it around California in Palo Alto, but maybe someone took it out before I took the car. So let's plug it in, and there we go. Let's take a look at the new Max Pack charging performance with the upgraded software. It's stuck on connecting to vehicle. Damn it. What does this say? Nothing. I plugged it in and it's just stuck there sitting. Now it says starting, unplug and try again. Oh. Now the EA station says reconnecting to vehicle. Welcome to Electrify America in 2025. This is not one of their upgraded sites, but you would think they would just upgrade the sites if they need it. And this one kind of does need it. I mean, it's not bad. ABB stuff generally was the more reliable option. Okay, well, now it's reconnected and it's happy. It says 64 cents per kilowatt hour. Goodness gracious. Thankfully, I have member rate, which doesn't tell me what the rate is. I'll just tap my card. Here we are processing payment. Weird how it had to connect and then reconnect. So there was a bug on the first connection. Early on when this would happen, I feel like I was getting charged double because it ran them as like, it was a bug where it thought it was two separate sessions. Yeah, let's turn climate control off for this charging session. We'll just keep the windows cracked. It's not too hot out, 77. I'm going to run in and get some food at this restaurant because I haven't eaten today anyway. We can monitor it from the app. Oh, it just failed charging. Unplug and try again. And the charger is still stuck on initiating charging, and we're on unplug and try again. And the charger's blaming the car. It says vehicle timeout. I guess I'll move over to that one and try that. How is it 2025? Like mid 2025, and this is an issue. Honestly, EA's been getting so much better for me recently. I have genuinely not had many issues with them. So of course, when I filmed this road trip, we get to a station and it's bugging out. I'll move one over to the right because I want to use a 350 kilowatt dispenser to get the 500 amps. Nice Gen 2 cameras on the Rivian. Love those. And let's go blast it up over here to this one. And we'll try charging on charger number 3. I have plugged in and it says initiating charging, and it's been on initiating charging. The car says starting, but I'm not getting much initiation happening. Now this kind of sucks because I genuinely don't know where the freaking Tesla supercharger adapter is. And if this station doesn't work, we are going to be hosed here. And it's not in there. I swear we put it in the center console yesterday in here, but it's not in there. I've checked like 50 times because I keep thinking it might be in there. Some false hope. Still stuck on initiating. Man, are we not going to be able to charge here? That would really suck, actually. No, not in that door pocket. Where's the adapter? Whoa. Not in there. Okay, this sucks. Did it fly under a seat? There was an adapter in here. It's still not charging. What is going on? Oh, did it fly in here? Because there's no like speaker or anything. No, not in there. Wouldn't fit in there. And it's definitely not in here. We have no supercharger adapter, and the EA station now on the second charger will not charge this Rivian. So that's great news. Good thing I got 2 more chargers to try. Goodness. So this charger completely failed on charging, and this one has been stuck on initiating charging for, well, we got to be rolling up on 3 minutes now. No idea. So I've got 2 more to try. Hopefully we get this thing charging. Well, that one didn't work. This one didn't work. We're on to a 150 kilowatt charger now. That means we will not be able to see how long the Max Pack will hold 200 kilowatts for, but that seemed to just work perfectly. Plug, tap my EA card, cable cooling spinning up. This all is working normally. Both of their high power stations here do not seem to operate. So at least we're not stuck and stranded. We are charging 22 kilowatts, 27, 30. We're ramping, and you'll be able to see here our charging stats. The one thing that the truck still doesn't show you is the battery temperature while fast charging. But one thing Rivian did improve on the Max Pack is they're letting the cells get a little bit warmer and a little bit cooler to allow fast charging. So I saw almost 57 degrees Celsius yesterday, and it was not even a super hardcore charging session. It just seems like maybe some of the weird dips and surges, thermal related surges we had with the Max Pack will have gone away. That's what I'm hoping is fixed with this. And that's what we're going to see at repeated DC sessions on this 1,000-mile trip today. Unfortunately, we're not able to smash it with full power, which is what I was hoping to stress test this thing with, is just full power, full power, full power. But we're doing 133 kilowatts, and that's just because we're maxed out at 350 amps here. So I've got some time. Our next charging stop, if we take a look, isn't for a while. Now I can see why Rivian has rated this a C score, this Electrify America. It was originally routing me to the Tesla supercharger, which is somewhere in the area, but again, I don't have the adapter in the car, so can't go there. That would have been great to have. The next charging stop I thought would have been Elko, but it's an F rated station according to Rivian. This is based off Rivian data, so that means you may not be able to charge it all. And then we got to go here to this C-rated. We have pretty poor charging going on. C-rated Electrify America in Wendover, which is by the Salt Flats. So it says we need about a 27-minute charge to 60%. This is also part of the Energy app now. It will say, hey, this is what time you're going to reach that charging level. And that's the trip target to resume the trip. So I've got 33 minutes till we reach 60% according to our charging performance that we're getting right now. Really smart how it says, hey, at this time you'll have this percent. Really love that. That's really cool, actually. And I've also got a little thing here that says that's our target, boom, that we get to. Now I assume what it's calculating is when we get to that amount, we're going to get to the charger with 59 miles. So we might even be able to leave, oh no, Battle Mountain. That's where we are now, right? So what, oh yeah, it thinks we're going to get there at what state of charge? 4 miles. So if we charge to 60%, it's expecting us to get to the next station dead, which works for my style of road tripping. Hopefully we can get a 350 kilowatt station there, take advantage of higher power. I wouldn't mind doing some more charge testing. With that said, I'm going to let this juice up, run into this restaurant and casino, and be back with you guys after a meal. Just finished up quick meal. Pretty good for being in the middle of Nevada. No complaints. The Colt Casino. And maybe it's not a bad thing we were stuck on a little bit slower charger, because didn't seem to impact the trip too much. Yeah, of course, I've always want to get the most amount of energy in there as possible while it's just sitting there charging. But looks like we still are charging. Let's take a look at the energy app and see how its charging performance looks. Yes, the Rivian app always showed the charging curve, but now you can see it in the truck, which I think is pretty great, especially if you don't have app access. We're only up to 63%, so I think that's almost perfect timing for what the trip computer wanted us to charge to, right? Didn't it say 60% to make it to the next one? Oh man, still doing 150 kilowatts at 64%. I can tell you for sure, pre-update, it wouldn't do that. I actually just watched back our R1S road trip with Scott's Rivian. It was doing like 126 kilowatts at 53%, something like that. And here we are over 150, still at 65%. So that is a serious improvement in charging performance from what we've seen before. And yeah, here's our charging curve, just sitting flat. So basically the charger's amperage limited at 350 amps. And as pack voltage comes up, you'll see we just get a little bit more juice as we're coming up. Looks like we just tapered off 150 kilowatts at 65%. That's way better than it was before. Look, it's not class leading. It's no Zeekr golden brick, but at least it's 100 times better. Not 100 times, more like 0.3 times better. But it's a little bit better than the pre-update, and I'm really glad to see Rivian at least trying to squeak out everything they can from these Samsung cells. So it said trip target was 60%. We're at 66% right now. If I hit continue, it says we'll get there at 16 miles. So we have, this is funny, 282 miles of rated range, 178 miles to get there with only 16 left. And that just shows you high speed cruising will really hurt you. And that's exactly what the energy monitor was telling us when we were sitting here. It said, try keeping your average speed around 65 miles an hour. How about no? I'm ignoring you. We're going fast. Drive fast, charge fast. That's the quickest way to get around. So, yeah, we've been here 33 minutes. We put in 80 kilowatt hours, cost me $38. Let's hit the Gen 2 ejecto button. My Gen 1 truck does not have that button. So we can pull this out there. We charge from 12 to 67%. Again, just over 80 kilowatt hours. We basically put in a full charge on a Model 3 long range in this thing. This is a 140 something kilowatt hour pack. It's a real juicy one. We are off to basically the Bonneville Salt Flats. We'll charge before there, and then we'll probably go stop at the flats. I always do when I drive through. It's a cool place. ABB, Electrify America. Got to fix those two chargers in the middle. And we are off. Let's do it. We have arrived to a full Electrify America charging station. This iX is at 96%. This Rivian, which looks like some sort of company Rivian of some kind, that's at 99%. So everyone's just full charging their stuff, but that's all right. I mean, as long as they're charging and not icing it, then we're good. Okay, let's take a look at some stats on that trip. So if we come over here to our energy monitor and we look at our drive, It says energy use looking good, but the whole time it was yelling at me saying, hey, we're going, quickly. And then it was like, hey, a lot of acceleration and braking would save you energy. But I was just going up and down hills, which is why you'd see this kind of like big output, big regen, especially here towards the end. We used roughly 90 kilowatt hours. Again, 2.7 kilowatt hours from the outlets. I'm not sure where that's coming from. So I think they got to dial that in a little bit. But what I'm really curious about is to see the charging performance. So I'm hoping this iX can leave, because that's the 350 kilowatt station. This Rivian's on the 150 right here. I think he just finished up. Got a Kona and a Ioniq over there. So, yeah, I don't think it'll be a long wait at all. Maybe just a few minutes and then we'll be ready to rock and roll. This Rivian over here is literally done charging, but he isn't moving. Can you move your truck, dude, so I can plug in? The heck? Come on, brother. Move that thing. Move that bus. Well, the Rivian is gone. It's just the iX here, sitting at 99% on the iX. I almost want to wait for the high power charger. Maybe we'll just go nice and slow getting this thing plugged in, because I really want to see this charging performance from 4% to see how long it'll hold full power for. So, what do we do? Do we wait? Do we charge? Man, that thing's still doing 68 kilowatts at 99%. That's awesome, BMW. Nice work. I'm thinking that's the iX family over there would be my guess. I would say let's just plug in. It's going to take them a minute to get going anyway. We are plugged in, just tapped to paid. Should be going through handshake communication and starting to charge here in a second. And let's see how everything goes. Should be pretty good. Once the iX is done over there, we'll swap over to that station, and that should give us the full 500 amps that the Rivian needs, although it is going through this reconnect process again. So there was a Rivian just charging here to 100%. We know the station works. Got some like silly string on our tire over here. What the heck? Some gum? So not sure why we keep having these reconnection bugs and issues, but worst case, we'll try that handle. Was the Rivian plugged into that handle or that handle? I think they were on this one. I don't know why this is giving me so much interrupt bug stuff. Maybe it's because we have the prototype software on there, but it really shouldn't be, but it's possible because they did alter some charging stuff. So that's something to keep an eye on for sure. Well, here's another just unplugged and plugged back in, and we are having a failed charging session, and it's saying reconnecting to vehicle. This is my second attempt on this charger. I'm going to swap handles, see if we can get it to work, but the Rivian says unplug and try again. Oh my goodness, why are we having so many problems over here? I swapped cables this time just to see if anything would make a difference. It looks like it wants to start charging, and then the Rivian faults and the EA station goes to reconnecting to vehicle. So not 100% sure why it keeps faulting out. I might do a hard reset on the truck, just try to reset the screens. And once we do that, then we'll be good to go. Looks like the iX is leaving. We're definitely going to try it over there and see what the heck happens. This is the error code we keep getting, this charging start error. It's the, oh yeah, we've seen this one, the 36, ooh. We've seen that a few years ago. It's like we're back to being in 2022. Well, it looks like the Nero and the iX left. This was the station we couldn't get charging. It was just odd how a Rivian literally was just charging on here. We are now moved over to this 350 kilowatt station. So everything's looking normal. It says, welcome, Kyle. I'll hit continue. Hopefully the truck accepts it and likes it. It says starting in there. It doesn't say failed. I hear normal contactors clicking. Is it possible that this just failed last minute? I don't know. Should be interesting. And, the iX was just charging on here to 100 just fine. Oh yeah, now we're juicing. So it must just be an EA bug because we didn't reset the truck at all. That's annoying. And now we're ripping. So let's go see how it does now that we'll get full 500 amps, assuming the charger's good. Let's see how long it holds full power for. This should be great. So things are good. We are ripping, looks like pretty hardcore at the moment. If we pull up our charging menu, let's see what it's saying. It's saying all good, nothing crazy happening here. We've put in 3 kilowatt hours. That agrees with the charger that says, yep, 3.3 kilowatt hours. 3.3 kilowatt hours. Nice. One thing I'm curious about, because Rivian was saying they're letting the cells get a little bit hotter, is let's pull up the good old service mode. Now, I've shown many times how to get in here. It's a secret menu. You tap the top service mode, tap top bar 5 times. then click around a bunch, 33748 dashboards, high voltage, you're in. Boom. This is what we're looking for, max battery cell temp. So we're starting at 40 degrees C max. We're getting almost 500 amps, but not quite. Charger's saying it can give us everything, so we have a nice connection right there. And yeah, just another EA station, another broken charger this trip. That's really odd. Again, I really think my EA experiences have gotten so much better, but don't know, I guess not this trip. So we're doing about 193 kilowatts, which is, you know, again, almost 500 amps. I've noticed this with the max packs where they'll take a little bit shaved off. Now this is what's going into the battery pack. So, you know, maybe 8-9 kilowatts of, or 8-9 amps of loss going in somewhere. But I do have climate off at the moment for this, and I'm recording the charging session, just logging the new max pack charging curve on the trip when I can with high power chargers. So yeah, let's see how things go. We'll charge up pretty deep, I think, because the next stop is Salt Lake City. Well, that is so funny how things work. The Ioniq just finished charging, so we've gone from waiting in line to being the only one here at the whole station, just cleared out. I do think, you know, 4 stations is not enough if you're going to be the only game in town. I think, you know, we just want more plugs. It's 2025. This station has not expanded in years. Anyway, we're still ripping 210 kilowatts, giving it everything it can have. And what I'm really curious to see is what happens when we start hitting some thermal limits. Like I was telling you guys, with the new software, I was feeling like things were a little bit more stable with the charging performance, and that's at least what we're experiencing so far in this drive. It preconditioned nicely on the way over to the charger, got the battery pack cooled down. Most of the preconditioning with Rivian is actually cooling after you smoke the battery on the first charge. And now we're up to almost 50 degrees Celsius, which used to be a max. Then I think they went up to 55. And now I've, last night, like I was saying, I saw 56. But we'll definitely see what happens when we start getting this a little bit toastier. Can't wait to see how this performs. Just juicing up over here, and we're all by ourselves now. I was looking for a little windshield wash station to clean off the windshield for you guys. Maybe I'll head over to the gas station before I leave. Still ripping 211 kilowatts now. This is great for max pack. It is just sat at maximum 500 amps this whole charging session, which, look, the Rivian should be high voltage. I can go on all day, but just the improvement from the earlier software already, I can tell you, is 100 times better. I think Scott's R1S that I have at the hub when we get there is still on the old software. So I should do a 0 to 100 race, get the trucks in the same conditions, plug in right next to each other, you know, of course, at a charger that can deliver all the juice, so I can show you the real difference. We're already up to 54C, still ripping, you know, 490 amps into the battery. So the charger's giving us 500. And this is freaking awesome. Hell yeah. Oh no, we just had a huge power dip. It was in the like 20 kilowatt range. Now we're in the 40 kilowatt range. It says charging speed limited by charging station. And I would agree. The charging station says it can only give us 100 amps. So we must have overheated the cable on the charging station. But what I should do is not deal with this BS. Wow, holy smokes. Maybe I've been just using Tesla superchargers so much. But this has not been a good road trip for EA. Okay, I'm going to move us over to this station here because I think we must have overheated or smoked the cable or something. I don't know. Nothing feels too hot. So let's hit the ejecto seat button. So this sat flat out at least to 37%. It was still doing well over 200 kilowatts. We did 53 kilowatt hours in 16 minutes. Oh yeah, cable's toasty. So I think the 100 amp was just probably hit some sort of temp limit. It's not even hot outside. Build your stuff to work on planet Earth. Oh my goodness. I just was meeting with EA. I had a meeting with them and I was like, guys, you're doing such a better job from years ago. Like, keep it up. That's awesome. And then we have to deal with this experience. So let's go try this 350 kilowatt station. A Mach-E is rolling up. So I'm glad we got this before they did. All right, let's go juice this up and see if, I want to see what the truck does when the cells get hot. Don't limit me from the charger. We are now plugged in on station number 2 next to us, and we are ramping up, and, well, it says 486 amps at its maximum. I guess that's better than what we were doing before, but should be 500. There's the 500. Just had, oh, now it's back to 486, but we're getting 490. So whatever, we're getting full juice. We'll take the full juice. And yeah, we're up to 500 now. All is good. Great. Cool. We are ripping, full rip. And this is what I'm curious about. What happens when we hit 55 degrees Celsius? Well, I think we're already coming off full power and tapering there a little bit. Could also be the 40% region. But hey, I mean, 200 kilowatts, we're close to maximum. I just wonder if 55 degrees C is still the maximum point. My guess based off of this derating is yes. Oh, now this station isn't working for the Mach-E people. Okay, that's not good. I can maybe go help them. Man, things are not doing so hot here at EA. Yeah, 55.4. We're down to 427 amps, 186 kilowatts at 41. It could either be internal charge curve or temperature related. Need a few more sessions to find out. So this is interesting. We just got a notification that says charging speed reduced by charging station, but I really don't think it is. The Rivian's been kind of wanting this nice taper that's been going on. So I feel like the EA system, it tries to just stay a little bit above what you're pulling for this maximum available current communicated. And I think that tripped up the Rivian for a second, and it gave it a false flag of wanting, slowing down due to charging station. So, ABC always blame charger. I'm good at that. Looks like Rivian's good at that too. And sometimes we're wrong. And in this case, I think it threw up a false flag to blame the charger. So always just take every warning and blip you get on your Rivian with a little grain of salt, because it popped up for a half a second and then you can see the charger was like, oh, if you want more, here's 430 amps now, and the Rivian didn't change a bit. So the EA charger is just trying to stay a little bit ahead, offering what the Rivian's taken. Well, it looks like they're letting it get up to about 56 and a bit degrees maximum cell temp. That's the most I've seen across multiple charging sessions now, so that could be its limit. Also, I noticed last night before I started shooting this video, around just over 155 kilowatts at 50% state of charge. That seems to be its crossover point. Let's go back to the Energy app, take a look at our charging curve that we must have plugged in right at the end of the big taper, and then came down to follow the normal maximum charging curve, which makes sense. And yeah, let's see if we can make it to Salt Lake City now. I'll turn off service mode real quick. So boom, we'll come up here and we will say, actually, let's see, there's a Park City charging station. Park City. And that way we can get past the Salt Lake stuff. Park City, Utah. Up the hill a little bit. We'll probably stay in Wyoming tonight somewhere, and then be home easily tomorrow. So let's see where that EA is. This is the EA in Park City, Utah. So that's where we want to go. Let's just remove this one. Let's see if it thinks that we can make it, or what we need to charge to. I guess it'll also show us that, which is a really good feature. So there we go. It wants us to charge for 14 minutes there. Let's continue the trip. See what it thinks. Oh, why did it need us to charge? Hold on one second. 24 miles to Electrify America? I am confusion. Something's buggy here, isn't it? It's not 24 miles to get there. That would be from there to there. But we're not there. Let's try this whole thing again. Let's put in our EA destination. What just happened? That was a super weird bug. Again, prototype software. We're back up to 155 kilowatts at 55%. So maybe it is temperature limited right there, because it's still boogieing along. So 56.4 seemed to be the max. So this is without charging. We can make it to Electrify America in Park City with 8 miles of range. That would be 2% state of charge. I'm going to charge up to probably 60% state of charge, because I'm going to detour to the Salt Flats. Maybe, 60, 65%, another 9%, 10%. Then we'll have plenty of buffer and enough for the hill climb up to Park City. I hate to climb in an electric car up a hill at very low state of charge. We are actually picking up a little bit of charging performance. And to me, that would just indicate, we're just riding that max temperature, and perhaps the cooling systems are able to keep up with it. Let's just double check to see what the heck is going on. I do love that Rivian gives us all this detail. Now, yes, we all want better thermal management. We all want improvements, et cetera, but high voltage is where we got to go. Yeah, 56.4 again. That seems to be the number. So I think what Rivian's doing is it's found its equilibrium charging point, which the cooling systems can handle 150, 160 kilowatts or so. And then I guess that is just holding it right there at that temperature. So it might require a few more charging sessions to see really what actually it wants here, if it's slowing down for temperature. It should show us that though, if that's truly the case. If we come over to the energy menu and go to the charging, no, it doesn't say we're hot or anything. But this type of curve indicates some temperature. But in previous software, Rivian would just fall on the floor and then it would recover and then fall on the floor. And this is so much more graceful in terms of temperature response. All right, we are juiced up to 65%. Yeah, holding steady at around 140 kilowatts. I mean, not the best charging performance, but really not terrible. Really not terrible. And it's shown 40 miles. That's 10% on arrival. I think that's more than enough, especially with a little detour out to the salt flats that we're going to head to right now. And it pops up this every time the truck wants to lower charging speed a little bit. It says limited by charge station, but the station's fine. It's definitely not limiting. Then it goes away. It's just it trying to respond to the Rivian's request, and the EA stations freak out the messages in here. With all that said, let's go to the salt flats. Time to boogie. Oh, let me show you. Well, we can't look at all the charge data because we had to unplug and move. I wish I could swipe back and forth between my last charging sessions so I could show you guys what it charged like before in this one. All right, time to go. EV9 just rolled up. Cool. We'll hit the ejecto seat button. Go here. So that was another 17 minutes. So what's that? About 30 minutes of charging and maybe another 10 minutes of messing around trying to get it to charge. Welcome to driving an electric car in 2025. Still not perfect yet. I would have thought we would have not been dealing with any of these issues anymore, but we are. So anyway, in case you've been wondering, oh, can't exit this way. Whoops. In case you've been wondering, I've been driving this Rivian in the normal key up setting, which is auto suspension height, which means when I'm in town at low speed, it raises to standard suspension. And when I get up on the highway, it drops to low. The R1T actually drives pretty great in low suspension, 100 times better than the R1S. So I'm really glad that I'm driving the truck on this trip and not the R1S. The R1T, this thing drives great. And in all-purpose mode, it auto disconnects and reconnects the rear axle. So it runs front-wheel drive most of the time. That's my biggest annoyance. And it does help with efficiency. So on a trip like this, yeah, I would probably do it. Oh, I gotta clean my windshield, don't I? All right, let's back up here. Let's go clean the windshield for you guys. Skirt. We confused the lady in the minivan. She's like, what the heck? Like, don't worry. Gotta get the bugs off this for the viewers. Yeah, T just drives so much better than S. Front wheel drive's annoying, but that will get fixed in an update. And I still probably would choose to drive front wheel drive just because, you know, for the efficiency on a road trip. But around town, I just want it to stay locked in all purpose. All right, let's clean the windshield. All right, windshield should be all clean for you guys. Let's hit that sprayer. Boom. Nice. Hopefully your view, my view is certainly a lot better. Hopefully yours is improved as well. All right, let's roll. It's over 2 hours to the next charging station. It's already preconditioning for fast charging. Let's take a look at our battery temp. Yeah, it cooled down a little bit during the windshield washing session. Off to the salt flats. Welcome to Park City, Utah. We have arrived to the Electrify America, sort of Electrify commercial, I would think. Rocky Mountain Power Station. This bus over here is charging. Just going to leave the Rivian there for a second. This bus is charging on a pentagraph charger, which is super cool. So you can see you have a couple of the ABB cabinets. Those are actually the same ABB cabinets we charged on in Battle Mountain. And we've got some switch gear over here from Lincoln Electric. That's feeding each one of these. These, I believe, are 175 kilowatts each. And then you can see it's pentagraph charging the bus right there. That is sweet. I've never actually seen this in the US in real life. I know there's places that have it. Aspen has one of these, but really cool to have vehicle charging right there and bus charging right here. All right, got to go plug in the Rivian, but I got excited. So nice chargers. And my buddy Shane came to say hey. And you see this thing charging, dude? That's sick. And yeah, I don't know. They got more equipment back over here. This is for the EA chargers. With all that said, let's get the Rivian plugged in. I have just plugged in. Shane came over to say, hey, what's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going?
You got a new battery in your Lucid.
Loving it. Yeah, it's
and
fantastic.
It charges so much better.
Yes.
So, okay, we'll have to do a video on that at some point. Actually, we did do a video on it. It's on the Bits channel, right? You shot a video about it?
I haven't done a new 10% challenge yet.
Got to do an updated one. Yeah, we're ripping full power here. So I'm going to shut climate control off so that it can give everything to the battery pack. Let's take a look at our drive cycle. Let's see, 334 miles on that drive? No way. Yeah, see, that's where we charged last time. So it didn't reset from the drive. It's been an uphill climb. Good news. You'll conserve on the way down. That's a new one we haven't seen yet. So good tips, but it didn't reset during our charging, session today, but it is ripping full power. So we'll have another recorded test and we'll see how long she holds for. So we just took Shane's Lucid over to Chipotle while the Rivian is charging. Almost forgot to film this experience, but dude, this is so nice. You keep your car immaculate. It's crazy.
I try.
It's insane. Colton did like the initial like real polish stuff.
Yep.
And then you like foam this thing in your garage.
Uh-huh.
I was kind of hoping you brought your Prologue up here, your wife's Prologue.
You should have let me know.
No, that's all right. This is way cooler. So yeah, Shane, you've got 51,000 miles on this. Does that mean it's out of warranty now?
It is out of warranty.
Oh, good luck.
I know.
Yeah, well, so far it's been somewhat reliable, except you did need a battery, but that's still under warranty.
Yeah, that new battery should be under warranty now. Yep.
Yep. And I think battery's, what, 8 years on Lucid?
Yeah, it's 8 years, 100,000 miles or something like that.
Okay.
So
fingers crossed this battery doesn't need to be replaced, but it's an updated version in the Touring. And yeah, I mean, you rip on this thing and it feels great. Like from a structural standpoint, it's awesome. No major rattles or anything.
Nope.
Hell yeah. Well, thanks for driving all the way up here and meeting me for dinner. That was really fun.
Yeah, it was great to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll have to do more in Colorado together. When we have the next range test, I need you to bring this out because we got to charge all the cars off of it.
Yep. I'll make it happen if I can.
Hell yeah. Thank you as always. Time to boogie back to the Rivian. Shane's going to give us a Lucid launch here.
Okay. Ready?
Ready. Love the front motor sound in them. Dude, this isn't bad. 35 minutes and 105 kilowatt hours we had. We're down to about 100 kilowatts at 75%, but that's a run to Chipotle and back. Hell yeah, that's a good charging session. Hopefully we got a good recording of it. But I would say this is not much to complain about. Basically 35 to almost 38 minutes, 10 to 80, considering they kind of chose the wrong cell and voltage architecture to begin with. At least they're optimizing kind of their initial mistake, I would say, in choosing this battery architecture. But nice. Yeah, we got the curves. All is good. I guess time to see where we're heading off to. But Shane, good to see you, brother.
You as well.
Thanks for coming all the way out. And we'll see you soon. That was epic. All right. I'll text you later on. All right. Time to figure out our next stop. And I don't know where we're going, but we'll see. Just met one of our viewers, Alan, over here at the charging station. Super cool dude. Owns a bunch of EVs, out of spec viewer. Shane's taken off, and we're figuring out where we want to charge to get to the hub. So it's showing, yeah, we overcharged quite a bit, but we can't quite make that jump. That's what I was thinking. We kind of didn't do a full optimized session, but we had dinner, and you know, it's all good. So we'll probably just do a quick high arrival at the next charging station, splash and dash, and then run it low following. Or maybe what I'll do is I'll stay at a hotel with a level 2 charger tonight. We'll see how I feel. And rip down there. So there goes Shane. See you, dude. And off we go to Wyoming. Hell yeah, that was awesome. Cruising here through this construction zone. Almost every car that comes on towards me is causing a big phantom brake in the Rivian. So yeah, ADB, the matrix lights, also seems to be a little bit laggy. I've gotten flashed twice with them on. You can see they're not splitting yet for these guys coming up, so hopefully it will shortly. And there's the split. A little late there, I think. I'm just covering the accelerator pedal. Of course, now that I'm filming, yeah, it doesn't slam on the brakes, but similar situation. It's just phantom brake after phantom brake. There it is. Oh, hard on the brakes. And then it kind of hesitates, thinks about it, and then gets back on the throttle. So it's a tough situation, but you can tell it's struggling here. Man, it started to get windy out here, so I had to stop early. If I had slowed down, we could have stretched it all the way to Rock Springs. It's another 150 miles or so, maybe a little bit less, 130 miles. We're down to 33% though, and it just wanted a quick 7 to 10 minute top up here out in the middle of Wyoming in the middle of the night. Honestly, pretty prudent move, just right off the highway, stop here at Rock Springs. Nice installation, 6 high power charging sites from Electrify America. I plugged in, tapped, and we're already off to the races, charging and ramping up. So that's the perfect experience. That's exactly what I've been looking for. So the last charge and this charge both had really nice activations. And honestly, it's the newer hardware here. And so I think that does kind of make a difference. This was a little buggy early on, but the BTC stuff seems to be getting a little bit better from my impression. You can see the Gen 2 lights now in the dark indicating our 30-ish% charge rate. Or charge rate, the capacity in the battery pack, 30% stated charge, and of course with the lines going indicating that it is charging. We won't stay here for long. I think I'm just going to run and pee real quick, and then we'll get right back on the road. I'm going to stay in Rollins tonight. I booked a hotel, Fairfield Inn Suites or something like that. No level 2 charging as far as I can tell, so I'll probably, if I'm awake enough, we'll probably top up tonight so we can just get in the car and go tomorrow, get back to Fort Collins. Or if I am feeling a bit tired, I'm probably just going to put a little bit extra in here, maybe an extra 5 to 10%, so that I can leave the truck overnight without it, damaging the battery at like 0% state of charge or something like that. So it's actually ripping right here, 212 kilowatts. That's awesome. Love to see it. It's getting chillier and chillier out. Truck says 209, so it's interesting how the truck is indicating this is what's going into the battery, I would imagine. And then, yeah, the charger says 215 kilowatts coming out. Now, none of these meters are 100% accurate, but it's looking pretty good. Let's take a look at that energy graph. It said, it's just mad at me for going fast, basically. But that's how you drive out here on I-80. You burn juice. Yeah, everything looks pretty good here. Just sitting maxed out at 200 plus kilowatts. So we'll take it. I'm pretty impressed that Rivian finally took them, a year and a half, 2 years since Max Pack came out. But I feel like finally this is how it should have shipped. It's kind of dialed from a charging thermal stability, repeatability standpoint. I'm pretty happy with this, considering, again, this is the battery. But if this is the battery, at least it needs to be optimized well. And I would say this is now a well optimized charging car. Very nice job to the Rivian charging team. I've been stressing this thing all day. I haven't had any weird anomalies. It's been honestly pretty predictable. Very nice charging experience. Great news. We just got the notification that we are ready to resume trip, and we will get to Rollins, with 21 miles. That's 5% state of charge? I'm going to put just a little bit more in, like I mentioned, just in case I don't want to charge tonight and charge in the morning. Typically, I always recommend charging at night, because especially if it gets cold out, then the truck or car will charge slower in the morning once the battery freezes. But it's not that cold out. And we're still ripping 190 kilowatts at 48%. So things are good here. We're getting almost peak charging performance still right here at 48%. So I'm going to stay here for a bit. All right, we've got about 10% on arrival predicted. I think that's pretty good. Let's rock and roll. Still pulling pretty good speeds for a Rivian up here. I just looked at, Scott's video earlier today. Like I mentioned, we were doing 120 something at 50. Here we are, 188 now at 53. So it definitely likes to be warm, but not super hot to get the big charging. And there is some possibility of a boost profile here as well, because it is holding higher speeds the later we plug in. So I imagine if we plugged in at 0, we'd be down a little bit here. But hey, that's all right. I think boost profile might be the answer just to get this thing to charge better. And it still requires a little bit more testing. But glad we stopped in. Glad I plugged in at higher state of charge. And I'm really kind of thrilled with that charging session. That was amazing for a Rivian. Really, really, really good. Also, shout out to EA for providing trash cans. Just need the windshield washer, and then everyone would be happy. All right, let's go to our hotel, which is in, let's see, we don't need to precondition because I'm probably going to charge in the morning. It's going to be the Fairfield Inn and Suites. Fairfield Inn in Rollins. Search. Boom. Rollins. Oh, it's only 114 miles. Damn, we probably could have made it without stopping. Doesn't matter. Now it says 60 miles on arrival. You kidding me? Put in so much extra juice. That's all right. Better to be safe than sorry. And we had a little bit of another charging test there. No regrets. Let's roll. Welcome to the Rollins Tesla Supercharger. It's a version 2, not open to others. I also don't have an adapter. Fairfield Inn by Marriott, that's where we're staying. The EA station's across the street. I am tired. So we'll charge up in the morning. Truck's at 7% state of charge. It's cold out, so I'm curious to see what kind of charging performance we get in the morning. Thankfully, we don't need too much juice to make it home from here. We're only, I don't know, a few hours away. Nothing too crazy. Now, I did use the gear tunnel, got my bag in there. So time to get checked in. I'm going to leave this over here. I'm not blocking any superchargers. Even if someone comes in with a trailer, they can easily move on and around me. So let's go. Time for bed. See y'all in the morning. And it's a good morning. I'm just across the street from my hotel here at the Electrify America charging station. Topped up with some Starbucks, I should say. Still waking up. And we are charging. It went through the reconnect process where it goes connecting, then reconnecting, then it let me start. And we are charging and juicing up. So just starting here. What I'm curious about is sometimes EA pairs some different chargers with each other. So yeah, we're good. So this is number 1 and 2, and this one's 3 and 4. But sometimes you'll arrive to a station like this where this one's paired with that one over there. But thankfully, we have a full dedicated power unit. That R1S also has a dedicated power unit, and we are good to go here in Rollins. Now, again, I didn't precondition it. I tried to do manual preconditioning this morning, but Rivian said at 7% state of charge, it was just not... not enough battery to precondition. I think they should allow manual preconditioning. Here's what I hit here. They should allow manual battery preconditioning, I think, to 3%. However, batteries are much less temperature sensitive when they're at low state of charge. So you can see here, even though it got into the 40-degree range last night and now into the 50s, it doesn't care. It's pulling full power right from the rip. So let's see how much charge we need to get back to the hub. I think I have it saved in here now. Yep, let's take a look. Use that new route planner. The route planner I have a couple requests for. The first, like I mentioned, I really want to see state of charge on arrival. Here, let me just hit continue. I want to see state of charge on arrival as well as percentage, and I also think it needs to show negatives. For example, yesterday when I was stretching it to here, it was showing you can't make it, and then like just as I was arriving to the charging station that we topped up last night at, I think in Rock Springs, it said, oh, I can make it here with 3 miles of range. And I'm like, oh, I wish I knew by how much I wasn't going to make it so I could drop a couple miles an hour if I wanted to. So I think by hitting continue on that screen like I did there, it seems to have bricked the calculation as to what I need to charge to. So maybe what I need to do is hit end, reset the trip, and you need to have it show you need to charge to a certain amount. There we go. Resume trip in 24 minutes at whatever percent point that is. And I think our energy app will show us 54%. So sounds good. We'll probably charge to, 55 to 60% state of charge, and that'll be the last charge of the trip. Really not bad. I'm really curious to see how this charging session goes, but overall, the stability, the repeatability is so much better from the charging perspective. I really love the charge curves on this graph. Again, I wish they plotted it over state of charge or time where you could choose. And to be honest, I've been trying to get on board with this whole drive recorder thing based off of an arbitrary time limit. I can't get on with this. This is hurting my brain. I really need give me not time intervals, but distance intervals and an overall combined output and regen bar. And then over here, you can show me, okay, what percentage was taken up by the drivetrain versus climate. How much did I regen? I think that's a great option. And I also would love to see a lifetime option, so I didn't have to use trip A and B so much. The problem with Rivian is there's no since last charge. So you have trip A and trip B, and that's it. And what I really want to see is current drive, which you get in the energy app. So current drive, trip A, trip B, since last charge, and lifetime. That would be the ideal trip layout. Oh, we also never named this thing, did we? Damn, I don't know what we're going to name it. Maybe that'll have to wait. The name hasn't come to me yet. But something around a stable, repeatable experience, because that's what I've been looking for out of Rivian, and we're finally getting it. So we're going to let it charge up for the next 25 minutes or so. I'll blow through some emails and then we'll head home. While charging up, I got this message that says charging speed reduced by charging station. In this case, it actually is. I don't know why, but the EA station has dropped to 400 amps available for no reason as far as I can tell. Could be cable related. So what I might do is swap to the other cable right there and try and get that extra 100 amps, which is, over 30 kilowatts faster, would make a big difference. And yeah, so I'm going to unplug, swap units, and I guess that's what we got to do. Wow, weird. That's a weird bug, but another EA problem here where the charger's communicating, hey, I used to do 500 amps, now no longer. Cable's a little toasty, but cable cooling's on. No, it's all cold up here. No idea. No idea. It was like right at 10 minutes. Another reconnecting to vehicle. I'm starting to think it's got to be something on the Rivian side with this new software. Anyway, let me tap to pay and get the new session going. We are plugged in, ramping up, and we do have the full 500 amps available. Actually, probably as we climb up, the charger will communicate 500 instead of 499. It originally said like 200, then 3 something, then 4 something. And so, yeah, EA's just kind of stay a little bit ahead of the car. But I've never seen it show 499 this consistently, but that's close enough. Ripping full power again. Don't know why we had a limit on that one. That was weird. Dang, well, if you get the temperatures right, which we're at 54 maximum cell temp at 50%, it was doing, just almost 195 kilowatts at 50%. That's crazy. So it is still pretty temperature sensitive. But man, they really give you the juice when they can. That's really good. The most I've ever seen on Max Pack before that was like 125-ish kilowatts at 50%. And here we are, 200 kilowatts at 53%. It just peaked up at before it tapered there. So, I mean, it's a real improvement. Regardless of anything, this is really, really much better charging. What the heck? You guys joined me in Detroit? Well, that's because I forgot to film an ending for this video, so I figured I'd stand in front of the GM Towers, the old GM HQ, just to wrap up the initial road trip and to let you know what's coming next on the channel. Well, the road trip was super fun and super interesting. I was bummed I didn't have my NACS adapter to use Tesla superchargers and, of course, take advantage of plug and charge opportunities and other things. But overall, I thought the trip went pretty well. The new energy app, honestly, I don't love the way it displays energy usage over time in terms of minutes. I would much prefer miles. But other than that, I think it is going to be a useful tool for new owners to understand what's contributing to battery drain or battery gain as you drive your vehicle down the road. I hope that Rivian will add more robust features, more robust prompts and information, similar to like what Tesla does. Tesla will show you, like, if you dropped, 2 miles an hour, you would have saved 0.3% on this trip, whatever it might be. So I hope Rivian can go even nerdier in there, but they have a really nice basis for the energy app. More importantly was the improved charging performance. On the .18 software, the charging performance is just absolutely 100 times better than it used to be. Look, we're not talking Zeekr Golden Brick or BYD megawatt charging level, but we are just saying a more consistent power draw during the charging session. And when the battery does reach its thermal limits, it doesn't just die and fall on the floor. It just drops about 20 or 30 kilowatts below peak, that high 170, 180 kilowatt range, and just sits there till about 60, 65%, where it just, derates from there to 100, the same every single time up top. So I'm more thrilled about the charging improvements than I am the energy app. And I want to say a huge thank you to Rivian for loaning me this truck and letting me go on this trip and show you guys what's all about it. And even more so, the next trip is going to be really fun, because what I did as soon as I got to Denver was I strapped on a 7,500 pound trailer to the back of this Rivian and took it out to North Carolina, loaded up with my Renault Twizy, my smart car, and my little BMW CEO2 motorcycle, and towed pretty much halfway, if not even a little bit more than halfway, across the country. I cannot wait to show you that I would say, epic road trip, and we'll really be able to push the charging performance and the thermal limits to the max, because we're not giving that truck a chance to rest, going across the country, charging, discharging, charging, discharging over and over for about 2,000 miles in the next video. So stay tuned to the Rivian towing road trip to North Carolina. That'll come soon. And as always, I appreciate you guys watching this and joining me on the trip to Colorado. Thanks so much for watching. As always, see you in another one again soon. Bye-bye.